Hello, Paul here in Nisros, Greece. Nisros is an island off the coast of Kos. Kos is where Hippocrates came from, and he's the guy that said, "Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food." And so we're sort of in the middle of a really healthy area here. The island of Ikaria is close by, and that's where Dan Buettner did his spotlight on the island of Ikaria as a blue zone. There's several blue zone islands like Okinawa, Japan, blue zone locations, not islands, but the island of Okinawa, Japan, and then Sardinia, Loma Linda, California, where the Seventh-day Adventists are, and they have a healthy diet as part of their religious teaching. And so here we are in Nisros, Greece, and you know, when you travel, I'm going to see what it's like without this light on. That's a little better. So in Nisros, Greece, you know, it's really, you know, it takes a while to get here. You know, it's not like there's an airport, you know, 2 miles away. Well, there is an airport a few miles away, but you have to come on by boat. And so, you know, traveling is really hard on your body. I mean, my body, I haven't worked out in like 2 weeks, and, you know, I'm feeling it, and it's hot, and, you know, there's been a lot of work to do with the house and fixing the air conditioning, and, you know, just, you know, not really big problems, but it's just tough on the body, all the time zones, and then we're trying to get used to all these, you know, the different sleep schedule here. They have a siesta during the day, which I'm fine with. I like that. It's a good idea. But it's tough to be healthy when you're traveling, never mind when you're not traveling. So, you know, we have epidemics of cancer and heart disease here in our world, and, you know, we know what causes cancer. We know it's caused by nutrient deficiencies, lack of nutrients in the soil, which translates to lack of nutrients in the food. It's caused by toxicity. You know, all these you know, gasoline-powered cars and motorcycles and planes, and, you know, petroleum. You know, we breathe a lot of that stuff, whether we want to or not. And then thirdly, you know, I encourage you to watch a few videos by T. Colin Campbell, and he had a book called The China Study, which hasn't gotten much traction at all, but he basically shows that excess animal protein will cause cancer. Now, I eat meat no more than once a week, but most weeks I forget. You know, Friday night I'll have like 4 ounces of meat, but usually I forget. I just don't crave it anymore. But that's what he said is sort of the allowable amount. 1 or 2 servings a week is really like 1.5, and that will. But if you have a lot more than that, it will really spike your probability of getting cancer. And something, and you know, in the old days, people couldn't afford meat. You know, because we're wondering why the sudden epidemic of cancer. You know, we know it's the soils, we know it's the toxicity, but with mechanization and computerization and automation, we've been able to raise and process animal products very cheaply. And so what that's given rise to is people having meat at every meal. But, you know, back in the probably in the 50s and before that, people couldn't afford meat very often. They couldn't afford it more than once a week. And then before that, you know, people were, you know, quite, you know, they'd use their cows for milk, they'd use their chickens for eggs, and, you know, there's very little meat eaten. And even in the Bible, you know, they ate meat, you know, when they were traveling. They'd drive their herds ahead of them, and they'd eat the meat as they go, or they'd have it during festivals. So this idea of eating meat at every meal is really new, and it's, I think, very problematic. And then the other thing is heart disease. I would encourage you to look at the work of, T. Colin Campbell's videos are all online. About 15 minutes of watching his videos, you'll know exactly. You don't have to read a book or buy a book. He's got it all online. Just get on YouTube, T. Colin Campbell, China Study, and you'll get all you need to know about that. And the next disease is heart disease. And so I think this is caused by excess oil in the diet. And well, I don't think people should eat processed foods or processed oils at all. So sorry if you love fried chicken. You know, you can just take it out on me. Okay, I can take it. You know, put it in the comments there that you know this guy's crazy or whatever. But you know, I was just talking to a friend of mine who's got a big scar yesterday. big scar on his chest, and they had to open him up and do bypass surgery, and that's really extreme, folks. I mean, that's really bad stuff. You don't want to do that. They have to take like a circular saw like they use for wood, cut you open, and they rip your ribs up, and it's just awful. And so many friends of mine have had that, or have stents, and we know it causes it. So I'd encourage you to look at a few videos by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, a very famous, a real serious cardiac surgeon. Okay, this guy's looked in a lot of people's chest cavities and arteries, and he knows what he's talking about. And he wrote a book, Preventing and Reversing Heart Disease, and he's had a ministry to people for decades now. His wife's involved with it, his son's involved in it, and they're really knowledgeable people. And talking about the oil in the diet. And he grew up on a cattle farm. Thank you. I've got a really great helper over here. So Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Watch 15 minutes of his videos, and you'll get the idea very quickly. And change. Just change, because we got to survive. This isn't a walk in the park here. We're getting bombarded with all these biological things. These viruses and everything, and bacterias and monkey this and who knows. And so we got to really up our game. And so I'm going to show you a few things. Like, I'm traveling now. And so I'm going to show you some things that I've been eating, really good stuff. And I'll try not to eat too much while I'm doing the video, because that gets kind of messy, especially when I spit on the camera. But I think I'll turn on the light for this. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. So I've been, one of my friends, I have a good friend here named Lula, and she gives me figs. Every day she's been giving me figs. And I found 2 people that will let me pick on their fig tree. So these figs are great, and I eat a lot of these. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're used to it. That's one thing I've been eating. And then the other thing are these cactus fruit. I did a video on these called Fragusia, and they're really good. And so there's a video on how to cut them without impaling yourself on the spines, and on how to pick them and all that. So, and then the other thing I've been eating a lot of are these are garbanzo beans, and so you soak them, and there they are. These are ready to eat. I'm not going to eat any now, but I saved a few. So these are really good. About a cup of these, and you soak them overnight, and then you rinse them twice a day, and usually in about a little over 24 hours, these are ready to eat. And they taste very plain, so you have to jazz them up a bit. I use garlic and hot pepper a lot of times, and I try not to eat a lot of salt, but I've had a little bit since it's so hot here. It's in the high 90s, and you really sweat a lot. But these are really, really good, and they taste great. And like most things are really plain. Like if you take a piece of meat and it doesn't have a lot of fat in it, it's going to taste very plain. It's it's the barbecue sauce and it's the salt, oil, and sugar you put on the meat that actually makes it taste good. So this isn't any different. So these are garbanzo beans or chickpeas, and it starts out like that. You soak them, and then in about a little over 24 hours, they're good to eat. And they have a particular flavor when they're ready to eat too, by the way. And then the other thing, and I got a lot of people been asking me, even in Greece, they want to know, how to sprout things. So these are lentils, and so you just put them in the bowl, you fill it up with water, and then you soak it overnight, and then the water get a little white stuff on it, pour it off in the morning, and then just keep it wet. Keep stirring it so it stays wet, and then they'll get little tails on them, about as big as the bean. That's when they're perfect to eat, in my opinion. But anywhere in between is really pretty good. And they taste very plain. You have to jazz them up. Cut up a lot of garlic and a lot of hot pepper and put it on, mix it in there and down the hatch. It's very good. So, and I'll show you the rest of my bag of tricks here. So dates. Dates are really good. Go for the dates. Don't go for the chocolate and the candy and the pastries. Get a bag of dates and drown your sorrows. It's a lot better for you because the fiber's bound to the sugars are bound to the fiber. So it's not gonna do a lot of damage. If you're eating a lot of baklava, and I know you're gonna hate me for this, but baklava is wonderful, of course. Have one piece a month, okay, or a week. But where was I? So yeah, so eat the dates when you got that sweet tooth thing going, and sugar's good. So when God created man, if you read the book of Genesis in chapter 2, I think it's verse 14, he says, God created man and he put him in the east, in the Garden of Eden. And that word garden means orchard, and they had all sorts of fruit trees. They probably had a lot of dates and a lot of cactus fruits and a lot of figs. Yeah, figs are big. Jesus was into those. Olives, yes. That reminds me. So these are my olives. Yeah, they were good. So my friend Lula, who's taking good care of things over here, she helps me out a lot. She keeps these. She harvests them at the right time, and she soaks them in salt. But she poured the salt out and gave them to me, which was great, really good. Because, if you eat a lot of these, so these didn't have any oil or salt on them. And the kids thought they were disgusting. But I ate there were 2 bottles of this. It was a huge amount she gave me, and they were really good. But they didn't have any oil or salt on them. And they tasted very different. That's another really good thing to eat, especially if you're Greek. Highly recommend that. So another really good thing, I talked to my friend Anna today, and she had a bunch of these on her desk, is, you get the focal range here. So these are sunflower seeds. These are great. I mean, these are really good. And what I like to do is I mix them with a few raisins. And that's really tasty. And here are my raisins. These might be currants actually, but I have raisins and currants. I can't tell the difference a lot of times. And then, so that's good. I've done the dates. And then these are sesame seeds. They're also very good with, you can see that, with raisins. And I'd spoon them up and eat them and chew them really well. I like that. And then these are Brazil nuts. They're really good. So let me see if there's anything else in my bag here. And so what I do, I'll show you this. Some almonds, some more raisins, and some prunes. I haven't had them for a while. So the cactus fruit is supposed to make you constipated, so I got my medicine if I need it. But I want to show you this little bag here. Oh, this is a good one. Sunflower seeds. They're loaded with some kind of nutrient that you have to have. And so I get a lot of that. I can't remember. Can't keep it all straight. But this bag here, and so let me show you my bag. So it's a small bag. It's like a big lunch bag. And so when I travel, and it has a little cutting board I made, and so that's sort of the bottom of the bag is a little cherry piece of wood I use as a cutting board. So you can't take a knife with you, but you can take a cutting board. And so I can get this through the security at any airport with all my avocados and apples and fruits and bananas, and I haven't tried the figs and the cactus fruit, but they get the figs get kind of smushed.
Except the U.S. airports.
Except,
go back in.
And Costa Rica didn't like it very much. Did I get in trouble for that?
In the U.S.
Yeah, okay, so. So usually I can get that through security, but sometimes they stop me, but I always have a lot of extra time because I don't like to, rush through the airport. So I can eat it, in security and say, oh, do you mind if I just stuff this down? And then they feel bad, because the poor old bald hungry guy, can't get his food. And they don't like picking on old men, They don't like picking on grandmothers easy. You notice all the grannies have their knitting needles now. They couldn't do that before, but Granny got ticked and everything changed. So your grandmothers rule the world. So, and old men, they sort of, I don't know, they're sort of up there too. So, but I usually can get that through with all my fruits and veg. So that's a really good travel tip because when they're going to give you all kinds of junk in the airplane and everything like that. So we've talked about how to not get cancer and how to not get heart disease and how to eat healthy while you're traveling. And traveling's tough. Let's just face it. It's hard on the body. It's really tough. I got to go back to Nashville and play soccer, and I just don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to do some running before I leave here. But anything else talk about?
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Yeah, we'll get some watermelon in the fridge. That thing's heavy. I'm not going to pull that out now, but we're going to bust that open here in a few minutes, I think. And so thanks for watching, and stay healthy, and put your own experiences and tips down below. I mean, we got to pull together on this, or we're just going to get, we're going to get sick. Get what?
Fried.
We're going to get fried. Yeah, deep fried. So yeah, we're going to get sick. So let's help each other. I'll put your travel tips, how to stay healthy while you're traveling, in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and have a great rest of the summer, and we'll talk to you soon.